Hello friends, welcome to HTML video tutorial series. In this video tutorial, I am going to discuss floating images. How do we float image to the left or to the right of the content? Or how do we wrap content around an image? You can see here I have an image mypic.jpg and also I have a notepad file which contains an intro text with respect to the image. So let's get started. I go to start, I type here notepad, hit enter, then I say opening HTML tag, closing HTML tag, opening head tag, closing head tag, opening body tag, closing body tag. Then we say in the head section opening title tag, there I say floating image demo, closing title, and then I say file, save as, I say floating image demo.html. Both sides I put double quotations and save the file at desktop. I click on save button, minimize this. You can see that the file got created. I right click on it, open with the Firefox. You can see floating image demo.html page got opened and floating image demo is set as a title. In between the body section, I am going to create one paragraph, closing paragraph, and inside the paragraph I paste some intro content. I minimize it. I right click on intro text notepad file, open with the notepad. I copy this content, right click, copy that and close, paste it in this paragraph. I save the file, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see that the content is getting displayed. Then what I do, I want a border around this paragraph. So I have to use the style tag. I am going to write opening style, then I say type as text or CSS, double quotation close, then I say closing style tag. Here I am going to tell paragraphs, every paragraph in this page should have a border 2 pixels, solid black color, semicolon. File, save. What happens now is paragraph is going to be surrounded by a border. You can see that. Very good. Let's proceed further. I want to make an image as a part of this paragraph content. So inside the paragraph, I am going to use img src and I give a value as mypic.jpg that is available on the desktop. Close the tag. Now this image is going to become a part of paragraph content. And we know that image is an inline tag. After the image itself, the contents start displaying. So I say file, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see that here we have an image and the content to be displayed. If I want, I can increase the font size, font dash size. I give 16 point, maybe better. So I say file, save, go to browser and refresh. I think that looks better now. What I want is I want to float this content around the image. If I minimize the browser window, you can see that the content is not floating around the image, but it is floating down. So if you want to float, the content should float from top, right? From here it should start and move down. To do that, we have to use the align attribute, A-L-I-G, and align, and I say here left. If I say align left and say file, save, what happens we should understand. When we say align left, the image is taken out of the normal flow. That means you can think like this image is taken out of the paragraph and it is made flow towards left of its parent tag. So this image left edge corner is going to be touching to paragraph's left edge, but it will not be in the flow of paragraph. So if I refresh, and also you can see as we have removed the image out of the paragraph, this content is going to move up. So if I refresh, you can see that the content moved up. Actually, the paragraph height is only this much. You can see the border of the paragraph very clearly, and this content or this image is out of the normal flow. It has been taken out of the paragraph and placed at the left edge of the paragraph. If I reduce the size, you can very carefully observe that the content is floating or wrapping around the image. You can see that. The behavior you can understand. Similarly, what I do is I remove this align attribute and now we are in the normal flow. File, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see that image is in normal flow. Let assign align RIGHT right. Now what happens now when we say align right? File, save. The image again taken out of the normal flow and it is moved towards right, and image right edge is going to touch to the paragraph's right edge. So if I refresh, you can observe that the image right edge is touching to the paragraph's right edge. Let me prove that. Let me go back to Notepad and say here img. Every image in this page should have a border of 1 pixel solid, and that is of gray color, semicolon. File, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see now image has the border around it, and you can see the right edge of the image is touching to the paragraph's right edge, and also the content is going to float around it. Now you can see that the content is floating around the image when I change the size, right? So you should understand it very carefully. If we want, we can set the width of the paragraph itself, width, width of maybe 500 pixels, semicolon. I say file, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see that now the content is floating around and image is inside the paragraph itself. And if you want, you can give margin around the image, margin of maybe 10 pixels. If you give, it looks really good. File, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see that we have a margin around the image. And also if we want, we can align text, text, text dash align, align, justify. If I say file, save, go to browser and refresh, you can see that content is justified properly. The paragraph is now in justified mode. I hope you guys are understanding how do we float the content to the left or to the right. So if I say here left and say file, save, go to browser and refresh, you can see image is floating to the left and content is wrapping around the image. If we want later, we can remove the border of the paragraph itself if we do not want. File, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see that now we have properly floated the content. Hope you guys have understood how we float the image to the left. But if we have if I copy this content and paste it one more time down here, I paste it down, and let's take, I am not having this align left, I say file, save, go to browser and refresh. So you can see we have one more image and paragraph, content. Maybe I have 100 paragraphs like this. Okay, I have 100 paragraphs like this, maybe. Okay, file, save, go to browser and refresh. So like this. Now again, I want to float contents to the left. I want to float image to the left. So how do I do that now? I have to visit to every image, right? I have to go to every image and set here align, 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 and say left, double quotations. File, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see that the second paragraph image is floated left and content is wrapping around it properly, but third paragraph image is on the same place. Then I have to go to third paragraph, I have to go to image and say align equal to left, left, double quotation. File, save, go to browser and refresh. So quite simple. But instead of doing that, if I have 100 paragraphs, I want to perform that operation in one single step. I'm going to remove this, I am going to remove this also, I am going to remove this also. If I say file, save, go to browser and refresh, now we have normal paragraphs which contain an image and content. How do we float this image in one step? So I have to write something in CSS style. We have a solution to the problem by using the float property. In CSS we have a float property which takes the value either left or right or none. So I give here left and say semicolon. If I have written float left, means we are telling that every image should be floated to left. This float attribute or a property you can use on any HTML element. At present we are telling float the image to left. File, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see that every image is now floated to the left and contents are properly floating. Interesting, right? Now if I say float right, RIGHT right, and say file, save, go to browser and refresh, you can see that all images are floated to the right and content are wrapping properly around the images. For example, there is a situation there you come across like I want the first paragraph image should be floated on the left and the second paragraph image should be floated on the right. How do we do that? Here comes identifying the elements uniquely. Now what I have to tell is every image tag should be floated to the right. Okay, so here every image is floating towards right. Now I want the first paragraph. So this is a first paragraph, first image. What we do is I can give ID and say here ID I am going to give is first P image. That says it's a first paragraph image. So here what I do, select the image which has the ID first P image and tell to it as float to left semicolon. So uniquely I am identifying this image and setting the float left on it. File, save, go to browser and refresh. You can see only the first paragraph's image is floating left, whereas all other paragraphs images are floating towards right. Similarly, you can go to the third paragraph and identify it, float it on the left. So quite simple, guys. Hope you guys are understanding how the float works with respect to images and paragraphs and how you can control the flow of content around the image. So I suggest you to understand this clearly and practice this better because it is one of the real-time example used a lot. So in the next tutorial we discuss about how exactly the float attribute works in detail. So for this tutorial this much is enough, friends. For more benefits please subscribe and don't forget to like, comment and share these videos with others so that everyone will get benefited. Keep learning, keep coding, keep sharing. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.